Hey there, thank you so much for being here with me today. I am super excited to have Miss Lauren Bagwell with me. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I am so excited. She is a spoken word poet. She's also a teacher, and I had the privilege of listening to her on the stage at the Granada Theater recently. Fell instantly in love, walked up, introduced myself. I'm keeping her because you know that's what I do, I keep people. Yeah, and she is here today to talk a little bit about how she came to be a spoken word poet. How the heck did you ever decide to do that?
Well, it started when I was in 10th grade, so my sophomore year. I remember trying to kiss up to my English teacher and just kind of said, hey, the Shakespeare stuff, I'm really interested in poetry. Is there a way I could get more involved? Just kind of joking. And she goes, actually, our school has a slam poetry club. And I was like, oh, great, now I have to go. Right. And so I kind of showed up. I'd always kind of dabbled in writing, but nothing ever really serious. And there's a teacher, Mr. Martinez, who led it, and then he also ended up being my junior English teacher as well. And so just kind of from my sophomore year through my senior year, he was mentoring me and showing me different poets I needed to be reading and watching, and we met each week with our group and got feedback on pieces we were writing, and so ever since then I've just kind of been latched on to it.
I love those teachers that change our lives in powerful ways like that. Really cool. She is here today. She's going to deliver this really powerful piece that I had the privilege of listening to, and it's the kind of stuff that I think can change lives. I'm going to step out and let her do her stuff. Thanks, Lauren.
When I was a student, written across the top of the entrance it read, "Enter to learn, go forth to serve." But I found that as I entered to learn, I struggled to serve, with hope that I could go forth to find a piece of me worth someone else's time. I entered to pass a class devised to assess what success lied in what's left of my childhood. The teachers told me, go forth and solve the world epidemics across the planet. But with what? All the lifelong academics I learned, when those holding my creativity, they kept it in captivity, lost all responsibility as they distorted the imagination of their students' mind, leaving me depressed and suppressed, trying to find a way to beat a system that once taught me disgrace is brought onto those who fail to serve. But I remember a time when education wasn't about my scores, but about me. Back in pre-K, back when they let our rhymes thrive, letting us scheme any dream we desired and inspired to be, but the second my test scores started to feed into their salaries, I had to forget the impossible. I'd start focusing on things a bit more probable, a bit more rational, things like the ACT, the SAT, things that begin to morph everything into an AP, things that begin to constrict everything into another standard of perfection, things that begin to constrict everything into the limits of an administration that expected no less than perfection from their students in advanced placement, blindingly forcing their intellectual trophies into the 80th percentile of all those who have found it worth their while to start cheating. But it was all out of the fear of disappointing. So don't question why students cheat, and they won't question why you standardize their learning, because in the classrooms, teachers teach the tests to get the scores to get the rankings to get the bonuses, and to get the bonuses, they demand flawlessness. So for ourselves, we demand excellence, hiding our passions behind 5 standardized STAR tests, all to give this establishment their success. So yes, I believe that teachers have unintentionally become advocates of cheaters, but I'm not blaming them. Rather, I'm calling out the Board of Education and their jumbled up priorities. All I ask is that you watch closely and keep an eye on every adolescent personality slowly slipping away into the mono-routine of everyday strife. 'Cause hey, that's high school, that's life. What do you expect to project from the screens of teens when their education by all means exists in the intermolecular formula for sodium they had to memorize for chemistry during world history, because the night before they were reciting Mark Antony, trying to figure out the probability of heredity for biology, because if they don't relinquish every second, every minute, they'll slip out of the commended and no longer be perfect. No longer be yours, because if you say potato, then they'll say potato. But here, have a nice day, and remember this motto, the one that, honestly, I don't think I'm worthy enough to deserve. Enter to learn, go forth to serve.